afternoon. I would like to call the Flint Board of Education regular board meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. Board members, I call your name. Please say present for the record. Trustee King. Present. Treasurer Luna.
Present.
Trustee Relaford. Absent. Vice President Clark.
Present.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre.
Present.
Secretary Perkins.
Present.
And myself present. We have 6 present, 1 absent. I will now call upon Secretary Perkins to read the district mission statement and first statement and the standards of practice.
District mission statement. It is the mission of the Flint School District to develop a community of learners who are prepared to live, work, and contribute in an ever-changing society. Flint Board of Education standards of practice. In order, to provide outstanding leadership and better serve the Flint community schools, we, the members of the Flint Board of Education, commit to the following standards of practice. Number 1, we will be consistent in our dealings with each other, as well as students, staff, and community.
2, we will model trustworthiness and honesty in our relationships with each other, with our superintendent, and with our constituents.
Number 3, we will focus on the common goal of providing the best education possible for the students in the Flint Community School.
We will respect the diverse views that each of us bring to the organization, as well as the views of others that we interact with as we carry out the business of the Board of Education.
We'll be open and authentic with each other, our staff, and community.
As we work to make decisions, we will focus on issues, not personalities.
Our decisions will be student-centered and based on objective facts.
We will practice good listening skills to better understand our fellow Board of Education members and constituents.
Thank you. Board member, in your package, the approval of minutes. I seek a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the August 14, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting, August the 21st, 2024 Special Board meeting, August the 21st, 2024 regular board meeting, and the August 22nd special board meeting, and the August 22nd, 2024 special board meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Are there any correction? Seeing none, the motion to approve the minutes from the August 14 through August 22, 2024 will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, say yes or no to approve the motion. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford? Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 6 yes, 1 absent. We will now hear comments from the public. The board will now hear comments from the public. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on the matter within the authority of the board and not address individuals by name. The presiding officer of the board should have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address first before we begin to speak. And is there anyone from the public who would like to speak?
Name and address?
Yes.
My name is Mr. Betts. I'm a Student Success Coordinator at Nethercutt Elementary School. My address is 3117 Norwood Drive.
I can't hear your name.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. You might have to pull it a little closer so I can get your name clear.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like my first name?
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
perfect voice.
Brandon, Branden, Betts, Betts. 3117 Norwood Drive, Flint, Michigan, 48503. My name is Mr. Betts. I'm a Student Success Coordinator at Nethercutt Elementary School. As you can see, I just wanted to publicly affirm our leadership. I'm not sure if I'm able to say their names.
Yes.
Mrs. Cook and Master, she is an amazing principal. Over the last 2 years, she has made great progress in math and reading. Throughout the district, I believe we're top 3. Our educators are amazing. I have a great relationship with all of them, Ms. Spencer, Ms. Skeen, Ms. Milliken, Mrs. Barnett, Mrs. Jackson, and Mrs. Desmond. These are just amazing women, amazing educators. They have allowed me to work with their students. We've done restorative circles. We are digging in on our PBIS expectations throughout the school, in the classroom, in transitions. I also brought some flyers to events that I would appreciate if you all would show up to. We have a talent show October 18th. I would like to build relationships with you guys. I want to be able to be a familiar face so I can understand what's going on in this district. I'm originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. My wife is from here. I've been living here about 4 years. I'm currently a student at Mott to become an educator. I just appreciate the love and support that they've given me. I'm hired in through the GISD, but since I've been at Nethercutt, it's changed me just to be able to work with these students and their families. It gives me a different purpose. Before this, I was working in irrigation, but I knew that I had a bigger purpose and a greater purpose within this district. And there's a need, a big need for relationship, empathy, understanding, as well as leadership. And I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak. And hopefully I'll be able to see you in the near future at some of these events and build a relationship with you guys throughout building this community up and just being the best that we can be for these young people, to have something to look forward to. So thank you for my time. I appreciate you.
Good evening, Felicia Neymark, in-person direct hire speech-language pathologist, Durant Turimont, and early childhood evaluation team. I unfortunately arrived late last week after public comment time was over. I would like to let you know of my disappointment in the decision to let Mr. Stuart Blatt, physical therapist, go. Stu came to work for Flint Community Schools through a third-party company the year after I did and gave all of his all to our students. Unfortunately, his contract was discontinued just before our first intersession and Labor Day. And the ISD-provided physical therapist left on a previously scheduled trip the end of last week. I do not remember how long she will be gone, but she is now solely responsible for providing physical therapy to all students serviced by Flint Community Schools that have physical therapy included in their IEPs, including the outlying Head Starts and GSRP programs that we are required to service. So if a student is a Flint school district resident, but attends Educare or Summerfield or Cummings or Van Wy, we are required to provide those services for them if they need speech, physical therapy, occupational therapy, or school social work, as well as to do evaluations. In addition to that, I wanted to speak to you to discuss comments made during last week's meeting. I believe it was during board member remarks, and I think it was Trustee Rutherford who commented about keeping those involved with the school shooting in Georgia in our thoughts and prayers, and that it could happen here, but of course we all hope it won't. I don't know who made the decision as to when to hold the Potter ribbon cutting ceremony, but having it on a school day, with students present in the building, in a building where some doors do not lock, do not close, and student safety is a concern, was not a wise decision. Having strangers walk through the building was asking for trouble. Thank heaven, nothing happened. Additionally, I know that several staff members from other buildings, myself included, would have liked to be there to support our coworkers and the district. We were unable to attend, however, because it was held during our workday. When we discussed issues last year that we were having with the restoration of our agreement, restorative steps and things, one thing that the staff was asked for was to participate more and encourage participation of our coworkers in support of the district. We were unable to take the opportunity to do that in this case. I hope it went well, and I ask that in the future, the staff's ability to participate, staff input on when the best time to have something would be, and most importantly, student safety all be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Thank you for this opportunity to stand before you. I think each one of you have a flyer right here. We're going to be putting on this Black Tie Affair, raising funds for our youth program. Youth program going to really emphasize or try to get more students in Flint involved in this power-packed program right here. It's going to have a component education program, which we're going to emphasize more so than the sports aspects of it. But when you look at the sports aspects of it, we got some really powerful hitters. We have college coaches that's going to be involved in this, former college coaches, former professional athletes, and high schools, all-state players. We believe this concept that we're going to be putting together will be a partnership that we're trying to generate with more support within the Flint community. And I know as far as like me, when I played sports and had somewhat of an academic program, it allows me to lead me towards the other aspects of life, to know how to hold a job, go to a job, and work through life emphasis itself. And we think that's a really important part that we need to have our youth around to the city of Flint. And a lot of the people that are going to be involved in this program, board members and as well as coaches and instructors, are Flint former students. That's the main thing. So when you look at someone coming from the outside, maybe don't know the fabric of Flint, we bring in that extra type of support concept that we need, and we see today is more needed than ever within our youth, because our youth a lot of time, as you know, don't know the history, and maybe because of not homegrown, as I would think about a lot of people concept maybe coming in and not really bringing the experience. So we're going to be bringing a lot of experience, hope, and we're looking for a lot of support within the Flint community. So this is one of the aspects that we're going to be working towards. So in the near future, I'm sure that you will be seeing a lot of information towards this event and many more events that we're going to have within the city of Flint.
Thank you.
Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did I say my name and address? Or no?
No, I can't remember. Did he get the name and address? Could you repeat it?
Okay, my name's Sam Stewart. Address is 3213 Forest Hill Avenue. Lifelong citizen. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you all.
Are there any more comments from the public?
Good evening. My name is Allison Montgomery Littlejohn. I am a parent. I have 3 sons that attend Doyle Ryder Education Center, and my family is also a school of choice family. We reside in Atherton School District. So I first wanted to say that my children transferred to Doyle Ryder from Pierce, and I am pleasantly surprised at Doyle Ryder. We didn't know where we would send our children to because we had been disappointed in Flint Community Schools. And my husband and I decided to go to the orientation at Doyle Ryder. And it was that orientation, after meeting the principal, Dr. Coleman, that we were thoroughly impressed with her and encouraged to enroll 3 of our children into that school building and to stick with Flint Community Schools. Excuse me. I attended the first parent meeting at Doyle Ryder yesterday with family engagement advocate Ms. Roberts, and my experience at that parent meeting was overwhelming because of the amount of support that was in that room. And I am very happy, pleased, and overwhelmed with being at Doyle Ryder. So I hope that feeling continues. And I'm just really happy to make the decision that has stuck with Flint Community Schools. Dr. Coleman and her staff are really a gem in the community. My only concern is the fact that Flint Community Schools is the lowest paying school district in the area, which causes a high risk of the district losing qualified teachers as well as gaining qualified teachers. So it's my hope that the Board of Education will work diligently to create a lucrative package that will convince qualified and genuine teachers to both apply and stay committed to Flint children. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else for public comments? Seeing none, I now call upon CFO Chanda Cleaves to present the action items to the board.
Good evening. I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 1.9, Personnel Recommendations.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is to approve Resolution 1.9 will be conducted by a roll call vote. Board members, I call your name. Please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Vice President Clapp?
Yes.
Trustee Rutherford?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
And myself, yes. 7 yes.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 11.12, Authorization to purchase and install new playground.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion?
I just got a quick question.
Yes.
Where's the playground going to be located?
The playground located at the shelter of Flint.
Okay.
Where is that?
Shelter of Flint.
Where's that at?
The homeless shelter. It's right there by Powers. Ain't that the one by?
Point of
by
information,
Mitchell?
Mr. Clark, what was your question? It's kind of hard to hear you.
My question was, what location would the playground be located?
Oh, for
So
11.12, what
Yes, ma'am.
was that? It's in this packet.
So Shelter of Flint.
That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussions?
Yes,
Trustee McIntyre.
I would like the public to be made aware of this grant,
Okay.
which is going to provide a new playground for the shelter of Flint through I don't know much about it, so perhaps you could maybe enlighten us. My concern is, because I didn't get information about how many bids were made for the RFP, and how did we get to the ultimate decision to hire this particular company. I have not priced playgrounds recently. I mean, this seems like a fair price, but I just kind of wanted just a little bit more background, please.
Sure. So we're in a consortium, and so we were able to, the consortium is through the state of Texas, so we were able to not have to go out for bid and use the playground boss. vendor to be able to purchase this equipment.
Okay, forgive my ignorance, but can you explain that? Do you
So,
know about being in the consortium? How does
Sure.
that
so if you're,
relieve us from RFP bid proposals?
so what happens with the consortium is they've already done the bid work. So you can go in and select a vendor from, it's a co-op program. So you're able to go in and select a vendor. So you're able to go in and say if you want playground equipment, and they'll show you what vendors will provide it. And the reason why it was done that way is that it was, the grant is set to end.
Wow, okay, I wasn't aware that that's how we could do things. I'm gonna have to look into that further.
Madam Chair?
Trustee Luna?
Yeah, you know, I was absent last week because I was in a PD in DC, but reading the board packet, it makes sense to me that we approve this, and I give my reasons why I'm supporting it tonight. Number one, it's not from general fund dollars, it's from American Rescue Plan dollars that are specific to homeless students. I know we have a fair amount of students who fit that population, so to give them some support where they possibly could live in Flint, I think is very important. And then three, and I may word this wrong, Mrs. Cleaves, but I'm gonna use my own kind of layman's terms, but the consortium is kind of, in my understanding, is kind of like, not quite like shared services, but that co-op model where we have access to folks doing the work for us. We pay a small fee, and we get equally competitive bids that have been vetted by professionals. And we've done it before in years past. I can't speak to the specific one. I can recall maybe one last year, but and I'm cool with it, and I'll be supporting it. But I think your questions were great, Trustee McIntyre. I mean, they need to be asked so people understand what we're doing here.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Trustee Relaford.
I just want to confirm the address is 924 Cedar Street? Is that where it's going to be built at?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 924 Cedar Street, Flint, Michigan 48503. All right, thank you.
Any more discussions? Seeing none. It will be conducted 11.12 by roll call vote. As I call your name, say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes,
Vice President Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Board member, I would like to open the floor regarding the appointment of Gloria Cole Flint Public Library Board.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So, number one, I've known Brian Larkin for a long time. I'm sad to see him go, but he's been there for so many terms that he wants to take a break from that specific role. So I want to thank him for his service. With that being said, the folks he spoke to for reappointment, specifically Mrs. Stanley and Mrs. Kell, I know personally, so I support their appointment. I also trust Brian's integrity and recommendations. I do somewhat know Ms. Muhammad, but I will support her appointment as well. And finally, I've known Mr. Asensu Tsukato my entire life, both personally and professionally, and I think he'd be a great addition to the board. But besides him being qualified through his executive leadership, nonprofit leadership, and just involvement in the community, I do know that the board does not have any Hispanic representation on it, so I think that's good to add that voice as we move forward and we make these kinds of appointments. So I'll support all three reappointments and also the new appointment with Mr. Asensu Tsukato.
Are there any more discussions? Trustee McIntyre?
yes, I'd like to echo that support, especially for Mr. Asencio Zaraco. Zuccaro, excuse me, apologies. I do know that in the years previous that we have had a very good partnership with the Latinx Center, and I wish there could be more, and I see this as a first step towards solidifying that, that partnership, and I really encourage it. I think I have been very impressed with his work, and again, I would like to see more of that, especially as it relates to the relationship with the Flint schools. And in terms of the rest of the appointments, I thank everybody for their service for that, and so I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just a request and ask, could we send that policy that's listed in there, can we send that to the policy review, when we have it, so we can adopt it?
Is the one that's sitting here,
Yeah.
do you need me to send, or you can just get this from what are you saying?
Can we put that on the agenda for when we do governance? For that specific policy?
I thought we did. Didn't we put that on there? We approved that? I check and see with Wayne, and we will be coming, and then we can talk to him about it, but I assume that we had addressed this when he first got started with Neola. But I check and make sure, and there's no problem.
Thank you.
I'll make sure Mr. Vice President get that. Any more discussions?
Just a quick comment, if everyone else has spoken.
I didn't hear you.
Just a quick comment if everyone else has spoken
Okay.
for the second round. Can I go ahead?
Proceed.
Yeah, so just look at the terms, specifically Mr. Larkin's term, Mrs. Stanley's terms, Mrs. Kell's terms. They did expire between 1 and 2 years, so maybe just moving forward, we could be a bit more proactive in making sure we make the reappointments or new appointments in a timely manner. For example, right, if Mrs. Stanley's term ended September 30th, 2022, maybe 3 months in advance or some kind of fixed period, we begin the vetting process for appointments or reappointment, just to make sure we don't have people stuck there or not in compliance with our own policy. And then two, I just want to speak again to the folks who are reappointing, but also Mr. Censure Zuccaro. He was in DC with me this past week and advocating. Mr. Zuccaro, we were in DC this past week, both at.
So speak into the mic, I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
I was just saying, speaking to his credibility, we're in DC this past week advocating with folks like Senator Peters, Michigan Speaker Joe Tate, obviously me for Flint Schools and him for his own organization, but that caliber of people we need to advocate for our library because we do have, oversight over it. So good appointment, but those are my comments.
Thank you. I want to respond to what you just spoken of as relates to these appointments coming in a timely manner. The library, Ms. Rita Stanley has been working with us back and forth. We've been back and forth. They requested this right when we changed policy, and we had to go through the Neola policy and implement this into Neola. So the timing was perfect when they did. It has no bad reflection on any part. It's just that we had to go through Neola because we left FBOE and we went to Neola, and we put in 1181 in Neola that we will continue this. So, but I hear what you said, but normally they come in during the summer month when term, they always give us 2 or 3 months notice when these terms come in and who they recommended.
Okay, thank you for that context.
Yeah, thank you. Seeing none, board is agreement with the appointments of these boards for the Gloria Cole Flint District Library Board. Moving on to our second item. You want to know, do we have to vote on it?
Do we have to vote on that appointment for library?
In the past, we didn't vote on it, but if there's something you guys want to implement in your policy, we could, because remember, we went from FBOE to Neolas to this, so, normally the board members would appoint if they had brought somebody in, like we appointed Audrey. That's who we appointed. They appoint their boards. Audrey Muhammad represent Flint Community Schools.
Madam President, I think we should vote to approve
Okay.
the nominees,
Yeah.
to make sure it's all, in record and so we're going, right?
I agree. So, I seek a motion to approve the Gloria Cole District Library Board.
Madam Chair.
As of- okay.
I'm sorry, I thought you,
As of 9/18/24.
okay,
Go ahead.
I still got the floor.
Yeah, you can make them. We need.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion to approve, what is that, 11.12?
22.4.
Okay, all right, item 22.4.
Support.
Yes. Support, if we got a second?
Okay,
This motion will be conducted by roll call vote. Board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Leonard? Yes. Yeah. Trustee Leonard? Luna?
Yes.
Forgive me, I've been up
That's
all
fine.
night. Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Vice President Clatt?
yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, 6 yes. Motion passes. 7 yes. Our next agenda on the board, on this package is the statement of Flint Board of Education regarding the censure of a board member. I want to bring the public up to date. There was a complaint filed against our board member. We had to perform a thorough investigation, and that investigation was completed. I am giving a statement to what we responded to. I would not elaborate on the details of it, but this is a statement from the Flint Board of Education. We has a board member of 7, and I support my board member, and we are providing the statement. As is August the 22nd, 2024, board meeting, the Flint Board of Education passed a resolution censuring board member Melanie Relford for violating board policy. The board also voted at that time to suspend its willingness to pay for board member Relford to attend out-of-state conferences at the district expense. Board member Relford was the only board member to vote against the resolution. The board's resolution is the conclusion. We hope to the multiple complaint against board member Relford submitted to the board in early 24. 3 separate complaints against board member Relford was submitted by 3 separate longtime employees of the district. The complainant included a senior administrator, a building principal, and a senior administrative assistant. Each of the complaints alleged that board member Relford was spreading false and defamatory rumors about these employees, creating a toxic work environment and undermining their ability to serve the district. In response to the complaints and to avoid any appearance of bias, the district engaged an independent law firm with expertise in third-party investigation to conduct an independent third-party investigation of the complaints. That investigation included a detailed review, including interview with the complaint. Board member Relford and others, the result of the investigation were reported to this board in detail written report dated June the 21st, 2024. The report concluded that all three complaints were substantiated by clear and convincing evidence that board member Relaford violated numerous board policies, including the board's workplace safety policy, the board's anti-harassment policies, and the board's ethics policy. In the interest of transparency and in the effort to restore some of the confidence in this board and district that may have been eroded by board member Relaford's egregious conduct here. The board will be making the investigation report available to the public with the consent of the complainants. It is this board hope that these actions demonstrated the board's commitment to our common goal of providing the best education possible for the students in the Flint Community School and supporting the district's amazing leaders and staff who work so hard to make this happen. That is the end of this statement. Ms. Cleese, please continue.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 25.3, authorization to purchase approved items from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Nurse Grant.
Support.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any discussions? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.3, authorization to purchase approved items from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Nurse Grant will be conducted by roll call. Board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
And myself, 7 yes.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 25.4, authorization to purchase approved items from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Clinical Therapist Revenue Funds Fiscal Year 25.
It's okay. Support.
It is properly moved and second. Is there any discussions? Seeing no discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.4 will be conducted by roll call vote. Board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
And myself, yes, 7 yes.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 25.5, authorization to renew memorandum of agreement with Dr. Reyes, Medical Director for the School Wellness Program.
Support. I
You
made
got
a
to
motion,
make-
I make a motion that we accept, Resolution 25.5, authorization to renew memorandum of agreement with Dr. Reyes, Medical Director, School Wellness Program.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. Is there any discussions?
No.
Any discussions? Seeing there's no discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.5 will be conducted by roll call vote. Board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clack?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 25.6, authorization to renew memorandum of agreement with Valencia O. Medical Social Workers for the School Wellness Program.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Seeing there is no discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.6 will be conducted by roll call vote. Board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
And myself, yes, 7 yes.
I seek a motion and second from the board to approve Resolution 25.7, recognition of Constitutional Day and Hispanic Heritage Month.
So moved.
Support.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, one quick comment.
Sure.
I know it's mandated by the federal government if we receive funds to have Constitution Day. It was yesterday, matter of fact, but maybe next year we can have an event in the community. From basic conversations and seeing social media posts, a lot of folks in this community don't understand how our government works at the federal level. And I'm not even making a joke about it, I'm being dead serious. We could hold an event for the community, maybe at the library, maybe at one of our schools, but it'd be helpful just to give some basic, just like pamphlets out, stuff for the students. Because I gotta tell you, I've spoken to some of our 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade students. They have a way better idea of how our government works than most of these adults. Well, let me go back, not most, a lot of these adults. So I think it'd be a great opportunity next year to educate folks in Flint.
Thank you.
Just to piggyback off Trustee Luna, I believe you had it right, most of the adults. But I think that it would be in our best interest to look for civics back in our curriculum and make that mandatory, a mandatory class to take for credit in order to graduate, like when we went to high school.
Yes.
I think that that would be in our best interest as a district.
Trustee Clark, as I can recall, wasn't you teaching a class, something on civic at one time?
Yes.
You and I thought that was really great.
Mhm.
There is something we can look at. We don't know if we can make it a mandatory class, but as a board, I think we could look at bringing civic back. And that's something we can discuss as a whole with Superintendent Jones.
Not that, I'm almost positive.
Is someone else is saying something? Trustee King?
Nothing.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.7 will be conducted by a roll call vote. Board members, I call your name. Secretary Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre.
Yes.
Vice President Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Relaford.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Treasurer Luna.
Yes.
And myself, yes, 7 yes.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to approve Resolution 25.8, authorization to sign memorandum of understanding with Michigan State University Fellowship of Instructional Leaders.
So moved.
It has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussions? Seeing no further discussion, the motion to approve Resolution 25.8 will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, please say yes or no. Treasurer Luna?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Vice President Clark?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
And myself a yes, 7 yes. Board members, thank you, Ms. Cleve. Board member, in your package is Bartek's monthly update for August. Do any board member have any questions?
Where does statement go?
Seeing there's no questions or comment, we'll move to remarks from individual board members. Do any board member have any comments or remarks before we adjourn?
Madam Chair?
Proceed.
Yeah, just a quick comment. As we look towards our next fiscal year, I think it would be in the best interest of the Montessori program at DTM to see if we can partner or acquire grant funding for a full-time FTE to run that program. I know they've recently hired some people who are certified and teachers in that program, and it's like, if I'm not mistaken, when I did my research, the only public Montessori in the county, so it really is unique when it comes to how we educate students. So it wouldn't help. I think it would be beneficial if you had a full-time administrator run it. Oftentimes in districts, we task our administrators either at the office or the principals to do like another task when it's like the third or fifth priority. I do think the students and the families who are part of that program deserve a full FTE in the future. So hopefully we can identify some funding, whether it be federal or even like with the local philanthropy.
Madam Chair?
Proceed.
First thing, I would like to, in addition to Treasurer Luna's mentioning, I think as we vision, as Flint Community Schools, as we grow and keep going forward, vision larger, not just Montessori, just at DTM, having Montessori having their own building, a Montessori school. There's a model of this in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids have a Montessori high school. They have elementaries. They actually have their own school. I think it's something that as we go forward and we look at later on, and district planning, right? To do that, right? If you have a full-time administrator, we might as well just give them a building and an actual program to run, So just wanted to echo that. But also I do want to acknowledge Potter Elementary ribbon cutting. That was an amazing event for our community to see the renovated buildings that we're actually doing. That is an amazing school building. And we're renovating the plans, right, in our buildings to make sure that our scholars deserve and be able to have a modernized learning facility and an environment that's conducive to learning. But thank you.
Madam Chair,
Trustee Rutherford.
I would be remiss if I didn't respond to the statement that was made on my behalf regarding censoring me. I don't have a problem with that. But however, as a board member, whenever employees feel as though they've been harassed or a hostile work environment, we have what you call a compliance officer, which the federal law requires the compliance officer to convey a report. Of course, that never happened. But last week they talked about a tenured teacher, 30 years, Stephanie Pascal, and in regards to removing her as a teacher, and also Carla Roberts put in her resignation after 30 years of service. So when I hear a censorship and I hear complaints, accountability is not attack, it's just holding you accountable. When something is placed in my name and I report it to the superintendent, never did I talk to any staff members. I talked to the superintendent. That's our only employee. So every conversation I had with the superintendent, he referred it to the individuals. And the individuals, he told them to write a complaint. I'm okay with a complaint, but make sure it's investigated the right way. So you have Ms. Roberts, and you also have Ms. Pascal. The district is going to end up in litigation for not doing what's supposed to be done. I didn't violate any policy and procedures. But you have two board members up here, the president and the assistant secretary, who just was sued for $690,000, and nothing happened to them. That went to court. Mine is just words. So I say to you all, take it for what it's worth, and as they say, look at the source. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone would like to respond? Proceed.
Yes, I would like to address the Montessori teaching. My own children participated in Montessori education out of all the available options, and it was in Flint schools, so we are grateful that that was available, and I fully support that as a pedagogical option because it seems that a lot of parents are opting for that, and it is a big draw. I'm interested to hear Trustee King's account of K through 12 Montessori education, which is new because know anything about Montessori education. Maria Montessori only advocated through the first grade because that pedagogy is a couple hundred years old. It's a little old. It's been updated, so I'm glad that we've seen it brought into the 21st century, so to speak. I don't know a lot about it. I just know that my kids still refer to their work, which is what kids do. They're responsible for a portion of work that they have on a tray. So I also would like to advocate for other forms of educational pedagogy. For example, if we are pushing Maria Montessori, a Italian European, I think we could also push for Mariam Kabas, who is currently an educator who promotes abolitionist education. And if you look her up on Google, you can see a lot of what she does and the curriculum that she advocates, and so I would recommend that. And I am still, I don't even know what the word would be to describe. I'm still disappointed that we eliminated the IB program, which was a very successful, the International Baccalaureate program at Southwestern. Speaking of programs that attract parents and families, this was very successful, and it, in my mind, in my opinion, it was unnecessarily eliminated, and I still have questions to this day about how a successful program was eliminated in, even in light of the teachers and the students. We do know we have one of our alums, Keyshawn Wade, was one of the last graduates of that the IB program, and he is graduating this year from Cornell. So I would really like us to look into bringing that back, bringing back stronger AP courses. There are a lot of curriculum choices. I want to be careful about mandating curriculum, however, because that is something that is specified by state and federal guidelines, and I always get a little wary when Board of Education members step into curriculum decisions. I will leave that for the experts. And I definitely have my opinion, but I think that that is something that we need to be careful about in this climate, in this day and age of overstepping our bounds as board members. On that positive note, I just want to address the statement that was made by the board president on behalf of the entire board, because we are a board that speaks as one, not as individuals. And when individuals do speak, they are speaking for themselves as a person. They can say they're speaking for the board, they can say they're speaking as a board member, but make no mistake, libel is libel. You can say that it's just words, but there are actually rules, regulations, and laws governing the use of words. Hate speech is illegal. Libel is actionable, and you can take action if somebody libels you. We have found in our investigation, which I might add cost almost $40,000 to the Flint school system for the errant ways of one individual board member that we were required to take because they were found with the preponderance of evidence under an investigation with an outside independent source, no matter what they say. Can you commit libel while you're refuting libel? I think that's, I don't even know if that's a thing. But continuing to lie to cover up more other lies, to cover up previous lies, is not acceptable. And I need to, as a person, as an individual board member, add my voice in no uncertain terms to condemning the statements made by Trustee Relaford that were wrong, that were inflammatory, defamatory, and found beyond a preponderance of evidence to be wrong. All of the procedures were followed as they should have been, no matter what she says about what she thinks the procedures should be. She's wrong. She is wrong in fact, and she is wrong in sentiment. And I apologize, not only for the board, but for myself as a person, as an individual, to the victims of her statements. I am so sorry that those lies, defamations, and statements of libel were uttered out loud, were repeated and spread, and caused you damage, harm, and emotional distress, among many other things. We've done everything in our power that we can. As board members, the worst we can do is sanction another board member, which we have done. We have voted to sanction Trustee Relaford for making false and harmful statements.
Point of information.
I am speaking.
Point of information.
What's your
There
point?
was a derogatory statement is points were put in my name by a staff member.
I am speaking, I
Point
have the
of
floor, and you do
information.
not have, that is
Point
not a
of
point of
order.
I'm asking a
information.
question.
Point of
You
it's a
did not
question.
ask a
Point
question,
of
I am
Point of order.
speaking.
At this point, proceed, Ms. McIntyre, your point of information.
It's a question, right?
No, you
No.
did
My
not.
point of information is, if something is in your name, that is not derogatory. That's a fact. If it's
Madam,
alleged,
that is a statement.
question is,
That is
a
not,
question is, if it's in your name, is that not a fact?
Okay,
The question, another question is, if it's alleged that a superior is giving a subordinate
point
fair
of
treatment.
order.
Point of order.
You're
I'm
abusing,
sharing- You're,
It's
you're,
not.
hold on.
Well, you
Po-
just-
Point of order.
abusing the point of
order.
information.
Point
This
of information
order- I'm
is
giving a
be
point of
specific.
order. This is not the time.
Yes, it is.
You had plenty of time to have this conversation. Proceed, Ms. McIntyre. After Ms. McIntyre proceed with her statement, I will make my final remarks, and we'll go into the meeting being adjourned. We are not getting ready to redo a trial here.
And another point of fact, because it keeps being brought up, and I am no longer going to be quiet in defending myself, there was a $690,000 judgment in the school district that was a insurance payout settlement. It was not a action taken against myself and Dr. Joyce Ellis McNeil. It was a settlement that was made by an insurance company, and it did not involve myself and Dr. Ellis McNeil. There are facts that are true and facts that are not true. And for Trustee Relaford to continue to repeat lies, misinformation is just continuing a pattern of smearing individuals, of trying to cause distress, and I will not stand for it anymore. Joyce Ellis McNeil and I did not cost the district $690,000. Take that up with Middle Cities Management, which settled a lawsuit which can be brought by anybody at any time, and in the past, with the Flint Community Schools, has been. We are known to be a district where you just sue so that you can get a payout, so that you can get a settlement, and this is the first time the board has stood up to a lawsuit that is not true, that was not true. There was a settlement because it was considered to be financially more expedient to make a settlement than to draw this out in court. I have information, I have facts, there is documentation if anyone would like to know, but to keep repeating this lie that there was a lawsuit against myself and Dr. Ellis McNeil, it is just simply not true, and we did not cost the district $690,000. The district did not pay anything. Zero. And I am done, and I am available for comment after the meeting if you would like further information. But this has to stop now. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Perkins.
I just wanted to say, this is the weekend that the HBCUs is in Detroit at Cobo. It is 10 o'clock Saturday. I was going, but I would ask that you all keep my sister in your prayers. I have to leave Friday. She has developed COVID, and she's got multiple blood clots in her lungs, and the other one has a large blood clot in it, so I've got to leave. So, traveling grace, and I hope the kids enjoy themselves, because Miss Fields, Kelly Fields, said she was going to be taking some of our children, and I'm excited about that. And they were asked to bring their ACT test or SAT test along with transcripts. And so they can potentially get scholarships right then and there and be accepted into the school system. So I'm so proud and so happy to make that announcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Clay.
First, I would like to thank all the speakers that came out. I do plan on participating. Second, I am taking 25 of my students to the expo down in Detroit.
My daughter is too.
Okay, yep, I'll be there on Saturday. I was hoping that we brought some of our scholars out, but I'll be there. And it is open to the public, so if you that are in the audience would like to bring your scholars or students out, it's at Cobo Hall on Saturday from 10 to 3. There will be 50 universities, HBCUs included. And like Secretary Perkins said, the students have the opportunity to be accepted on spot, and also apply for scholarships and receive financial aid and everything like that.
And also, if you want free tickets, just go on Eventbrite, and you can apply there. And if you do that,
It's
then
my turn.
you know. Oh.
Excuse me.
I was finna get to that. I was finna get to, yeah, like what she said.
Yeah, but he had the floor.
Go to Eventbrite. No, but also, I would like to correct myself because I did misspeak earlier when I spoke about the civics in the curriculum. So thank you, Trustee King. It is in our curriculum, and it is a requirement by the state. So I wanted to correct myself and put the correct information out there for everybody that I did confuse by giving wrong information. Again, we do have civics in our curriculum. I believe that's all I had. Yes, President.
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for your comments. And then I want to make a final comment as it relates to board members. Board members has two obligations, and that is to serve this district. Board members are not protected or governed by the attorneys when you do an act that is not board-related. When you hear of a lawsuit between 4 board members and you don't have the detail and we got a little gag on it, that is because in the past, prior to some of you board members getting here, we had a very unethical board members in leadership position that abused those positions, did a lot of unlawful thing under the FBOE. That's why we had to get rid of FBOE and run to Neola, because the FBOE was designed to break the law. And the law doesn't care if you are ignorant. The law is the law. We have a very strong board now. It took me 3 years trying to get a board that understands board business. This is a certified, state-certified board, every 7 board members. That meant you are to be able to govern it yourself. We could not go to the Attorney General in the past because they expect for us to govern ourselves. And when you run a dysfunctional board as it was in the past, we had a coup, overtake of the board. We had a lot of things that board members, because you're president, I'm the president of this board, I have no authority. I'm the voice for the board. I have no power. Only power I have is one vote. You have no power to go around abusing people, changing document, changing people's contract, making people's life just bearable because you hold a title. And it took us 3 years to get to this point. The governor wants to see us govern this board. That includes me and anybody else. Now, we are protected because being on this seat, you could get sued as long as you're doing board duty. We have insurance for that. We are protected. We cannot take the superintendent, do what we want to do with him, say what we want to say to people, disrespect the guests that come here, disrespect the teachers. That is not board duty, that's board ignorance. So as I say this today, we are going to govern. We are going to be board members. So look how far we have gotten. And 3 years ago, we should have been there and doing something, what Trustee Keene is talking about, Montessori, but we lost a lot of time. So on that note, if you don't know what you're talking about, and we're trying not to say who did what, but board members, you cannot do what you want to do. You cannot alter people's contract. You cannot have checks written to your attorney friend because you the president. Those are unethical and illegal stuff. It just so happened you have 2 standing board members here that was part of that process and had to get through that process. So on that note,
Could I forgot to acknowledge staff members. Could I do that?
Sure.
I want us to end on a good note.
Thank you.
I want to thank our 2 speakers that came up and acknowledged our staff at Another Cut and Door Writer. We have amazing building leaders in our district that go above and beyond for our scholars every day to create a culture of positivity and for them to thrive, right? I think it's important for us to note and differentiate this board is not the past, right? As we going forward, trying to recorrect some of the past mistakes, this board is a new board trying to are working together to make this district better than what we had came into it, right? But I do want to make sure we acknowledge our 2 principals, Dr. Coleman, Ms. Cookmaster over at Nethercutt. But they do amazing work, and it's good to see them lead a good building and lead the district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in and sharing your the good time with Flint Community School. We have spent millions and millions of dollars, and I'm not too proud to beg. I'm asking this community to give this district another chance. Think about bringing your children back to Flint Community School. Once we can get the capacity up and enrollment up, money will be not an issue for this board to pay our teachers a livable wage that is equal to other around our district. And we cannot do that without that enrollment coming up. We have done as much as we can go with the ARPA money and ESSA money that we have gotten. We have renovated. We have investors still wants to help us. But I'm asking the community now, we need your help to help us get this enrollment up. And the only way that we can take better care of our teachers, give some of the people that come here, they got good ideas and they wants to help, but we cannot run this district off of 3,000 some kids and give livable wages. I appreciate every one of you that's stuck with us as we trying to work through these difficult times. We have good teachers here Do not underestimate Flint Community School teachers. They are good, and I know they are good because I have worked with them. What we need parents to do is work with your student 15 minutes a day on reading, 15 minutes a day on writing, 15 minutes a day on arithmetic. Help the teacher help your student. The Board of Education would hold its next meeting on Wednesday, October 9th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Seeing no further business, I declare the regular board meeting adjourned at 7:41.